Everybody who had a 401k probably went to Costco to buy a case of Maalox last week.
He's not just the president of Wall Street.
Scott Bessent just said it's going to be between now and summer.
Okay, let's hop into another Fox News Outnumbered panel where the ladies are hopelessly trying to frame these tariffs as a win, but showing their economic ignorance in doing so. So I want to correct the record, but first, be sure to leave us a like if you can. It helps us out a lot more than you could imagine.
The Trump administration says nearly 70 countries now are looking to come to the table to renegotiate their tariff deals with the United States. Now the markets are responding. They have been for about 2.5 hours now. Let's take a peek. This is the Dow, and it's been ranging between this 900s to 1,000 up today. Look, it's early in the day. It's been in the green, and the other indices are as well. You'll see that. We'll keep those up on the bottom of the screen. President Trump has been touting upcoming trade talks, saying, quote, I just had a great call with the acting president of South Korea. We talked about their tremendous and unsustainable surplus and tariffs. In any event, we have the confines and probability of a great deal for both countries.
You really gotta love the constant schizo posting from the president, but no, this is a total misrepresentation. It's funny actually, because it's what I literally just warned about in yesterday's video where the market lost, I believe, over 10% since these tariffs were announced, where today it was briefly up 2 to 3%. And MAGA's like, haha, tariffs are paying off. Are you going to admit you were wrong, lefties? Which, first, up 2% from 10% down is still a massive decline from where it was before. Math is hard, I know, but the markets are back down now anyways. I mean, that win was short-lived, wasn't it? Not to mention the reason that it bounced was false reporting that Trump was going to back off of tariffs. It was just reporting that Trump was willing to negotiate in general. These 70 piss-poor countries, and they're not all piss-poor, but a lot of them are poorer countries that are ready to negotiate the tariffs. It doesn't mean much when most of them don't have the financials to increase their buying power regardless.
Everybody who had a 401k probably went to Costco to buy a case of Maalox last week because everything fell off the cliff.
And that's serious for them if they plan to retire anytime.
Absolutely. And if it's your life savings, you worry about your life savings. But here's the thing. Because the president's team was not all on the same page, last week we got different messages. Half of the advisors were talking about, yep, they're going to be permanent. And the other half were, he's going to make a deal. Today, the news was, I just talked to the acting president of South Korea. Next thing you know, boom, it's up 1,000 points. You know, Donald Trump said early on, there's going to be some pain. We didn't know what that meant. We didn't know how long that was going to last. But ultimately, he had a plan. And Scott Bessent just said it's going to be between now and summer.
This is where the other side of this is also really important to talk about, but I do first want to mention, I love how Fox, when they think the markets are bouncing back finally, it's the first time they're willing to acknowledge how worrisome this could be for some people who are retiring, rather than acting like it's patriotic and nobody really cares because we all trust Trump blindly. But the other side of this is labor, where companies right now, shareholders right now are losing money massively. Their investments, right? Their profit is going down. When this happens, it's almost always met with layoffs. So even if the market hypothetically rebounds in a few months, which don't get me wrong, the market eventually is going to rebound. It's more about when or how long, right? This, however, doesn't save people's jobs that it costs, all without any real benefit shown.
He knows he's not just the president of Wall Street and CEOs and publicly traded companies. Yes, it's very important, but that's only one metric to use when we're measuring the reaction. It's roughly 40% of Americans that are not tied to the stock market.
Right.
And what do they have to say about this? How are they feeling? And I think he knows very well because he got that message during the election. And I am so grateful for my job on Fox Business.
This talking point literally makes no sense to me. The people this affects the least is Wall Street, right? Those are the people who are right now shorting companies. They're excited that this is happening. They're buying dips right now, right? They're hoping to make even more money in the long term because when their portfolio dips, it doesn't affect them. It's just seen as like an investment opportunity. But the 77% of Americans who rely on 401ks, those people can't just invest more in a dip. People who, the man who just retired this year, right? Hypothetically, that he's looking at 20% of his retirement savings down, he can't just invest more. Americans who are going to be laid off for companies to keep their profits up due to these losses can't just invest more. So the idea that, oh, well, Trump is fighting the elites nobly for the working class in doing this is another hilariously dumb branding attempt. I mean, it's just, he's pretending, again, something that benefits the wealthy is somehow a benefit to the middle class. Nobody could explain that.